All right, let's talk a little bit now about what it means to be part of this program. We've talked a little bit about who you are, who we are, some of the things that you can learn. We want to talk to you about what it means to be in the boat. As you remember in the group exercise, you had a boat exercise, right? You guys had to pick 5 people to be in the boat. So that was intentional, and it has to do with how we run the program. All right. So first of all, let's see here. Oh, sorry, my slides are a little bit off here. Let me back up for a second. Before I talk about being in the boat, I wanted to show you a couple of pictures in regards to you could end up in the United States. Here you can see students. This is from last year's cohort, from Kazakhstan, from Ghana, from Tanzania, from the Ukraine, Pakistan, and Rwanda. These are students in the United States. You can see students here in Hong Kong from various parts of the world. If I can go from left to right, I can see Ghana and Zimbabwe, Nepal, Ghana, Turkey, the Philippines, Tanzania, Nepal, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Cameroon, Ethiopia, Nigeria, Brazil. All of these students ended up in Hong Kong. This is a student from Ethiopia who also ended up in Hong Kong. And this is a student from Nepal who ended up in South Korea. All of them ended up, by the way, with a full scholarship or a near full scholarship. Okay, now let me talk about the boat, okay? So everybody, the only way that 60 students from Nepal can be able to work together so that everybody has an optimized chance, okay? I want to talk to you guys a little bit about this. Okay, I want you guys to imagine that you are on a boat, okay? And let's say that there are 60 people on the boat. Okay, the only way that 60 people on the boat can each have a shot at a university is if each person takes one life jacket. Okay, so if I'm on the boat and I take 10 life jackets, that means that 9 people don't get to survive. Okay, so in this case, what that means is that 9 people won't get a possible seat. They won't get a chance. Okay, so the way that this program works is we are all in the boat together. We begin in the boat together. We will end in the boat together. Every year, we've done this for 7 years now, there will always be somebody, guys, who is first off the boat. We don't know who that is. There will also be somebody who is last off the boat. Okay? What we ask from everybody here is that we all stay on the boat until the last possible student goes. Okay, we also ask that when you get your life jacket, okay, if you get your life jacket, you take your life jacket and then you withdraw. Okay, you get off the boat and you don't take any more life jackets. Okay, so what does that mean? It means that if I get an acceptance and a viable financial aid offer from a school, okay, and you guys will choose which schools you apply to. But if I get that, I'm withdrawing. I'm not taking any more life jackets. That is the way in which we've run this program successfully. It's the way in which the most number of students can have the most number of chances. Okay, so that is what you are agreeing to in the contract. You also are agreeing in the contract that you're going to stay with the cohort. It's not going to be like, okay, you got a life jacket, now you're going to abandon everybody. You're going to stay to support and to encourage those, because if you're lucky enough to be first, then you now have the power to encourage the team to keep going until we seat the last possible student. Okay, the other thing I want to explain here is that second chance is a chance, guys. Okay, it's not a guarantee. So the way to optimize your chances in the boat are to do things that have to do with the group. Okay, so for example, one of the things that we asked you all to do was in the WhatsApp chat first name, last name, photo. The reason for that is because we want to be able to identify you. If you are missing something, a document, or you're missing something the hour before an interview, like we want to tag you. We can't tag you if you are listed as -123. Like we won't be able to identify you. Other kids can't identify you and help you and tag you. Okay, so we need to make sure that, for example, when we give you instructions, we're serious about these instructions. Guys, you know when you're sitting in a classroom and everybody around you has like, let's call it a social contribution score. Okay, I'm going to explain what a social contribution score is. There's always one person in the room who talks way too much in the classroom. You guys all know who that is. Okay, and every time they open their mouth, you're like, oh my gosh, here we go again. And in your mind, their social contribution score is like a 1 out of 10. Okay, then there's other times when somebody talks and you're like, I can't wait to hear what that person says. That's a 10 out of 10 for you. So we want everybody here to signal a 10 out of 10. Okay, so we're going to give you tips to do that, like first name, last name on the WhatsApp. Okay? Okay, the other thing, guys, is we have traditionally moved very fast. Okay, this boat is flying down the river. Okay, why? Because we've told universities the first of you who makes an offer, you are likely to be able to have this child be on your campus. So we actually have tried to set up an ecosystem where people will compete for you. All right. And so what does that mean? It means that they have been incentivized to move fast, and we want you to also move fast. Okay. So we might be coaching you to move faster than you're normally used to working. And we hope that you learn from that and that you will maximize it. Okay. Okay, let me just go back to the presentation. Okay, so as I said, on the WhatsApp, we want things to be identifiable, okay? Within the cohort, we want you to be, guys, you are here because the group interview, we were looking for micro signals as a team. So we look to see if you did things like, for example, layer. Layering is when I say something like Tushar, you're right next to me right now. So I would say, oh, as Tushar said, I want to add on to that. And then Jules, you're next to Tushar. So I would say something like, oh, what Jules said makes sense, and I want to amplify it. We looked for things like that. We also looked for encouraging signals, like if you were kind to your teammates. Some of you said things like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Like we looked for these micro signals of how you all collaborate with each other. And we really tried to select for you all who are kind, compassionate, collaborative, because as you can see, we work as a cohort, we work as a team. We're not working individually, one by one, and you're not like never meeting each other. We're all here in the same boat together, okay? To keep your seat on the boat, we need you to be accountable, encouraging. We'll redirect you if we see something that you're doing that might be misinterpreted. We also want you to really be respectful towards your second chance advisors. To be on this team, advisors had to pass case study, interview. The people that you see on this team are kind of best in industry, and we really want you to be respectful, be gracious. You know, the folks on this team are spending a lot of volunteer hours to help you so that none of you have to pay anything. And so we want the whole ecosystem here between us and you, between you guys and each other, between our team and our colleagues, to all be really respectful and kind. Some kids have lost their seats in this program. We have removed them from this program. Usually, those cases have to do with a lack of attendance, not showing up for other people, acting in ways that we would say are not aligned with second chance values. For example, we removed several students last year who only wanted to apply to one school. That's not what this program is about. This program, to maximize your chances, you're going to have to apply to more than one school, okay? Disrespectful behavior. Okay, so you're in this program, but you got to keep your seat in this program. You got to keep your seat in the boat, okay? Here's what we are not able to do for you. All right. So as you think about whether or not you can sign a contract with us, think about what your needs are. All right. First, in regards to wait lists, we don't advocate for students to be taken off of wait lists. So almost every single one of you is on a wait list. The reason why we don't is because in our collective experience and in the industry, it is well known that if you are a high achieving, low income student, your chances of getting off a waitlist are very low. In my own career of 25 years, I've only seen a student be taken off a waitlist who was a high need student once. So the chances are very low, and we don't feel that that's where we should put our effort and our resources. Okay. We also are not an organization that does gap funding. So let's say you've got an $11,000 gap at a Texas university. We don't do gap funding. Okay. We aren't like a source of income or gap funding or financial like cushioning in that way. Okay. We aren't able to do that. We aren't able, that is, if you need gap funding or if you need, for example, additional advocacy for your current financial aid packages, the best person to actually advocate for that is a school official, somebody from your secondary school who can act in your stead and who has known you for the past 4 years. That is actually the person who would do the best job at advocating for you to close the gap. Okay. Finally, we are not able to cover indirect flights or indirect costs. So tomorrow, we are having a meeting with your nominators to ask for support in helping you fundraise should you need this cost. Now, everybody here has applied to the United States. So actually, you all probably already understand that these costs weren't going to be covered anyways. Okay? All right. What do you do next? Okay, we will send out a big email, but in general, I want to just remind you all that you want to sign the contract. Okay, the wonderful Chen is going to talk to you a little bit more about if you have questions about the contract. We have a meeting with your nominator slash counselor slash advocate. It's somebody who is part of your journey who can give us official documentation tomorrow and the next day. Okay, and also if you haven't changed things on the WhatsApp group, we hope you do that soon, as in today. Okay, finally, guys, verification. We will be asking for your school to send us documents from their portal, from your student information system. The reason why we do this is because we want to verify your credentials, your academic credentials, and what you've said, that it is true and accurate. We depend and we will invest and we will fight for students. Anybody who's part of this cohort, we will fight for you. But we depend, part of that fighting depends upon your integrity, character, and truthfulness, which we assume. Okay? So if it is the case that fraud or misrepresentation is found, we will have no choice but to let you go and wish you the best from the program. Okay? And we will also have no choice but to let your school know and also to notify any academic partners that you applied to by that point. Okay, so that covers who we are, who you are, some of the skills you're going to get from this program, and also some of the rules that and the guidelines that we're hoping and principles that you can abide by. And now